My child, draw near and listen with the deepest parts of your soul, for this moment is a sanctuary I have created for you. Do not let the clamor of your day or the worries of your week pull you away from this message in the coming moments. What I am about to share with you is not a casual word, but a lifeline for the days ahead, a fortress for your spirit. Understand this fundamental truth. Your safety is not found in walls, in wealth, or in the approval of others. Your true and lasting protection is found only within my presence. When you walk with me, nestled in my will and covered by my love, no harm can truly touch the core of who you are. But when you wander from my side, even by a few distracted steps, you step out from under my shelter and become exposed to the harsh elements of a world that does not know me. My child, I must speak to you with the urgency of a loving father who sees a storm gathering on the horizon. There are choices you make, some so small you barely notice them, that can cause a slow and imperceptible drift away from my light. This separation is the true punishment you must be ready for. It is not a penalty I inflict upon you, for my heart's desire is to draw you ever closer. The punishment is the natural consequence of leaving the safety of my embrace. It is the work of an enemy, the devil, who despises your connection to me. His entire purpose is to sever that bond. He works tirelessly to make you stumble over your own doubts, to trip you with temptation, and to make you question the divine purpose I have woven into the very fabric of your being. He is a master of illusion, my child. He is a whisperer of lies, a weaver of deceptions. He will use every tool at his disposal, your insecurities, your past failures, the pressures of the world, to convince you that my word is outdated, that my promises are hollow, and that your private struggles are meaningless and seen by no one. He wants you to believe you are fighting a battle in vain. But you must anchor your heart in this truth. I am with you. I have been with you in every moment of your existence, from the instant I first thought you into being. I have never turned my face from you, and I will never, ever forsake you. Even when your own heart is filled with doubt, even when your mind is a storm of anxieties, even when the weight of the world feels crushing upon your shoulders, my presence is your unshakable foundation. This week, more than any other you can remember, you must become a diligent guardian of your heart. Your thoughts are a sacred space, a garden where either my truth can flourish or the enemy's weeds can grow. Your will, your power to choose, is a precious gift that I long to guide. Therefore, you must be intentional. Do not allow the endless stream of distractions to pull your focus away from what is eternal. Do not entertain temptations that shimmer with false promises of pleasure or relief. And above all, do not permit fear to become the ruler of your heart, for fear is the currency of darkness. These are the instruments the enemy uses to chisel away at your peace and your faith. My child, picture an hourglass, its fine sand slipping through the narrow passage. Each grain is a moment, a second, a breath. Each one is a gift from me to you, an opportunity for life, for love, for purpose. You must treasure this gift. Treasure it. Treasure it. Do not let it be squandered. Time is a finite and holy resource, and the enemy's strategy is to waste it. He seeks to fill your precious moments with meaningless words, with frantic but empty actions, with hollow promises that lead you on a chase that ends in exhaustion and disillusionment. Do not be deceived by his frantic pace or his glittering distractions. You must understand that the simple, quiet choices you make hold immense power. The decisions you might dismiss as insignificant, with you choose to watch, who you choose to listen to, how you choose to respond in a moment of frustration. Act 1 is a step. Each step takes you either closer into the warmth of my presence or further into the cold shadows of separation. I do not ask for perfection from you, my child. That is a burden you were never meant to carry. My request is for awareness. I need you to be conscious of your choices. I need you to choose me deliberately, with intention, not as a last resort, but as your first thought. Choose my way. Choose my truth. Choose my love. Make the conscious decision to walk with me, even when it feels difficult, even when it is uncomfortable, even when the world around you scoffs at your devotion and calls you a fool for your faith. My child, I need you to see yourself as I see you. Your spirit is a thing of breathtaking beauty, a unique reflection of my own light. You are far more resilient than you believe. Look back at the path you have walked. You have endured hardships that you were certain would shatter you into a million pieces. You have faced temptations that felt like a raging fire, threatening to consume you completely. You have waded through swamps of despair so deep you thought you would never find solid ground again. And yet here you are, you have survived. None of that suffering was without purpose. Those trials were not random acts of cruelty. They have been my instruments of refinement. They have strengthened the muscles of your faith. They have carved new depths of compassion into your heart. They have prepared you for the greater purpose I have for your life. And still, there is more. Your journey of growth is not over. There is always more to learn from me, more of my love to embrace, more of your own potential to unlock. I am here to be your guide through this coming week and beyond. I am here to give you the discernment to see the truth behind the world's masks, to help you recognize the subtle, cunning ways the enemy attempts to lure you from the path. I am here to help you understand that my love is not a passive sentiment. It is your ultimate shield. If you have ever thought my love is a quiet, gentle thing that sits in the background, think again. My love is the most active and powerful force in the universe. My love is a relentless, pursuing force. When you find yourself walking through valleys of darkness and shadow, it is my light that blazes a trail before you and carries you forward. When you feel the sting of utter loneliness, it is my presence that envelops you like a warm, protective cloak. When you are tempted to give up and turn away, it is my voice that will call your name, beckoning you back to the safety of my side. And if you will only quiet yourself enough to listen, you will find what your soul has been crying out for. You will find a profound peace, even in the middle of life's chaos. You will find a supernatural strength, even when you feel at your weakest. You will find a crystal clarity, even when your mind is clouded with confusion. Do not take this light for granted, my beloved child. Do not turn your back on it. The world offers a constant barrage of illusions. They can appear so attractive, so tempting, so full of promise. But they are mirages in the desert. They promise water and lead only to more thirst and eventually to nothingness. Pay close attention to the people who surround you this week. I have placed certain individuals in your life to be a blessing and an encouragement, but the enemy also uses people as his instruments. Not every smile you receive comes from a place of purity. Not every word spoken to you is rooted in truth. Not every path you are invited to walk down is a safe one. My intention is not to make you paranoid or fearful, but to make you wise. Wisdom is a far greater asset than brute strength, and the ability to discern spirits is more precious than all the gold in the world. Listen to the subtle nudges and promptings within your heart, for that is one of the primary ways I speak to you. When you feel a sense of unease about a situation, a restlessness in your spirit, or a strange pull away from something that seems good on the surface, pause. Do not ignore that feeling. Interrogate it. In that moment, know that there is a spiritual communication happening. It is either me speaking, trying to protect you from a hidden danger, or it is the enemy lurking, trying to lead you into a well-disguised trap. Choose your response with great care, my child. Prayer, quiet reflection, and intentional stillness are not passive activities. They are your most potent weapons. Hold them close to you. Use them every single day. If you do, you will never find yourself walking through this world unprotected. My child, I have seen every moment of your struggle. I have witnessed the silent tears you shed when no one else was looking. I have felt the quiet despair that settles in your heart during the lonely hours of the night. I have been with you in the moments when you felt utterly unworthy of love or forgiveness. I have seen it all, and my response to all of it is this: you are worthy. You are worthy not because of what you have done, but because of who I am and whose you are. You are loved with a depth and a breadth that your human mind cannot fully comprehend. There is no sin you have committed that is too great for my grace to cover. There is no mistake you have made that is too deep for my mercy to reach. There is no failure in your past so final that my love cannot redeem it and turn it into a testimony. The enemy would have you believe the exact opposite. He will whisper lies of condemnation into your ear. He wants you to believe that you are alone in your mess, that you are forgotten by God, that you are hopelessly trapped in your patterns of failure. But I speak this truth over you right now, and I want it to silence every other voice. I am here. I have inscribed your name on the palms of my hands. I will never ever forget you, my child. Therefore, expect challenges to arise this week. Expect to face opposition. Expect moments that will severely test your faith, that will push the limits of your courage, and that will challenge your loyalty to me. When these trials come, do not see them as evidence of my absence. See them as proof that you are a threat to the kingdom of darkness. These trials are not designed to break you. They are designed to build you. They are not punishments from me. They are opportunities. They are opportunities for you to recognize my power in a new way, to learn to rely on my presence more completely, and to discover how much stronger you become when you stop relying on your own strength and cling tightly to mine. Do not be shocked or dismayed when your faith is questioned, either by others or by your own mind. Do not panic when the path ahead seems foggy and unclear. This is a season of refinement. And refinement, while often uncomfortable, is absolutely necessary for your spirit to shine with the brilliance I created it to have. My child, be a guardian of your tongue. Your words have creative or destructive power. They can be a healing balm that soothes a wounded soul, or they can be a sharp dagger that inflicts deep pain. Speak life, speak truth, speak kindness. When you speak rashly without seeking my guidance, you risk causing injury to others and poisoning your own spirit. But when you pause and allow my presence to fill you, your words will carry my light. They will carry my peace. They will carry my healing. Make it a practice to think before you speak, to pray before you act, and to always seek my will first in all things. Your actions are a mirror that reflects the condition of your heart. If your heart is filled with my presence, then your actions will naturally reflect my love, my compassion, and my truth. Pay diligent attention to the inner world of your thoughts. Do not allow negativity to build a nest in your mind. Do not let the toxic emotions of envy, rage, or pride take root and consume you. These are the preferred tools of the enemy, expertly designed to distract you from your divine purpose and to sow chaos in your soul. Instead, you must intentionally cultivate their opposites. Cultivate a spirit of gratitude for what you have. Cultivate patience in your dealings with others and with yourself. Cultivate true humility, which is not thinking less of yourself, but thinking of yourself less. When you feel the heat of anger beginning to rise within you, stop and pray. When you feel the frustration of impatience taking over, take a deep breath and remember that my timing is perfect. When you feel the swell of pride puffing up your chest, immediately turn your heart back toward me in worship. For true and lasting strength comes only from recognizing your complete dependence on me. And true wisdom comes from humbly setting aside your own understanding and seeking my guidance in all things. My child, please do not ever forget the incredible power of prayer. It is not a religious duty to be checked off a list. It is not a mere routine. It is your lifeline to me. It is the very air your spirit breathes. When you pray, you are aligning your will with my own. When you pray, you are consciously inviting my presence into every single corner of your life, into your finances, your relationships, your work, and your secret fears. When you pray, you are building a shield of light around your spirit that no darkness can penetrate. I implore you, make prayer your first response to every situation, not your last resort when all else has failed. Speak to me honestly. Tell me about your fears. Share your most cherished hopes. Confess your nagging doubts. Unburden your wildest dreams. I am not a distant, uncaring deity. I listen. I care deeply. And I always respond, though often in ways you may not expect. And my child, love others with an unconditional love. This is the ultimate test and the greatest commandment. Do not measure out your love based on whether someone deserves it or whether they will reciprocate it. Love as I love you, freely, sacrificially, and without reservation. This is the secret to staying firmly rooted in my presence. When you give of yourself without expecting anything in return, you liberate your own spirit from the prison of transactional relationships. When you forgive those who have wounded you without holding on to a record of their wrongs, you heal your own soul from the poison of bitterness. When you serve others without any desire for recognition or applause, you become a brilliant beacon of my light in a world that is so desperately starved for truth and authenticity. Listen to me very carefully now, my child, for my words carry both urgency and infinite love. The enemy of your soul is relentless. He is not a part-time foe. He is constantly searching for any opportunity to deceive you, to entice you into sin, and to create a chasm of separation between you and me. You must come to understand that the weapons I have equipped you with are not of this world. They are not flimsy or weak. They are divinely powerful, living, and fully capable of demolishing every stronghold of darkness when you wield them with unwavering faith. The Bible, my holy word, is your sword and your shield. Do not treat it as a mere collection of stories or a dusty history book. It is your instruction manual for life, your map through treacherous terrain, a lamp for your feet in moments of confusion, and a blazing light for your path in times of darkness. Every single verse, every command, and every promise within its pages is a piece of divine armor designed to keep you safe from the expertly laid snares of the enemy. My child, the adversary often tempts you in ways that seem incredibly small, insignificant, or even logical and natural. He will suggest a tiny compromise, encourage a secret indulgence, or urge a silent allowance of a small sin. But you must see these for what they are. They are the enemy finding a crack in your wall. Every small compromise opens the door just a little wider for him to gain a foothold in your life. Never ever underestimate his power to subtly manipulate your thoughts, to twist your desires, and to inflame your emotions. I did not create you to be a slave to sin. I created you to walk in glorious freedom, to live in pure love, and to move in profound holiness. The Apostle Paul, my servant, issued a timeless warning. Do not be conformed to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. This transformation, my beloved child, is a miraculous process that is achieved through constant engagement with my word. When you meditate on its truths, when you commit its promises to memory, when you speak it aloud in your moments of temptation, you are arming yourself with the very power that conquered sin and death at the cross. Remember this, my child. Temptation almost always begins in the mind. The accuser cannot force you to sin. He does not have that authority, but he can suggest, he can whisper, He can present an alluring image. He can appeal to the desires of your flesh. Therefore, you must guard your mind as a watchman guards the city walls at night. The psalmist prayed a prayer that you should make your own. Set a guard over my mouth, O Lord. Keep watch over the door of my lips. I say to you, set an even stronger guard over your heart and mind. Be vigilant about what you think about, what you allow your mind to dwell on, and what thoughts you allow to take root and grow within you. Whatever you feed will grow stronger. If you feed a tempting thought with curiosity and attention, it will grow into a desire. If you feed that desire with acceptance and rationalization, it will flourish into an action. But if you starve that temptation by immediately feeding your mind with prayer, with scripture, and with devotion to me, it will wither and die from lack of nourishment. My child, you must flee from evil. I do not call you to stand and fight sin in your own strength, to test your willpower against its seductive pull. I call you to turn and run from it. Look at the example of my faithful servant Joseph. When he was faced with the persistent and aggressive advances of Potiphar's wife, he did not stand there and negotiate with the temptation. He did not try to rationalize or find a middle ground. He fled. He ran for his life and his purity. That is the model I give to you. When you sense temptation approaching, do not linger. Do not flirt with the idea of compromise. Do not try to convince yourself that a small indulgence will be harmless. Flee from it and take immediate refuge in me. Prayer is your instant escape hatch. Call upon my name. Speak my word out loud. Remind yourself of my promises of strength and deliverance. I promise you, I will never fail to provide a way out when you turn to me in this way. The enemy also uses people, even well-meaning people, to tempt you. Be extremely cautious of relationships and influences that consistently draw you away from my teachings. Remember the wisdom I shared in the Proverbs. Do not be deceived. Bad company corrupts good morals. This is an unchanging truth. You must intentionally surround yourself with people who will encourage you to walk in righteousness, who will remind you of my presence in your life, and who will hold you accountable in a spirit of love, not judgment. The community of believers is meant to be your fortress. When temptation strikes, you need the support and prayers of your brothers and sisters. Isolation is one of the enemy's most effective tools. He wants to get you alone so he can whisper his lies without interruption. Do not allow yourself to be isolated, but also do not allow yourself to be swayed by those who celebrate or encourage sin. Discernment is a gift I have given you through my Spirit. It is essential that you cultivate it and use it to choose your companions wisely. My child, humility is your most essential piece of armor. Pride is the open door through which sin loves to enter, while humility securely bolts that door shut. Remember the life of my servant David. He was a man after my own heart, yet he fell into grievous sin. But the key to his restoration was his response. He returned to me with a broken and humble heart, acknowledging the full weight of his wrongdoing, pleading for my forgiveness, and desperately seeking to restore his relationship with me. Humility allows you to recognize your own weakness and to rely completely on my infinite strength. It prevents you from falling into the trap of believing you are invincible or that you can successfully navigate the complexities of life without my daily guidance. When you are humble, you are teachable. You are cautious. You are protected from the deadly arrogance that always precedes a fall. My child, my word is your living teacher. In every situation you face, you must have it stored in your heart. Memorize it, meditate on it, speak it. When my son Jesus was tempted by Satan in the desolate wilderness, he did not respond with his own clever arguments or human reasoning. His response was simple, powerful, and unwavering. It is written. You must learn to do the same. Let my word be your default response. your primary defense, your unshakable anchor in the storms of temptation. When the lies of lust, greed, anger, or despair come knocking on the door of your mind, answer them with my truth. Let my word rise up from within you with such force and conviction that temptation cannot find any place to gain a purchase. This is not about rigid legalism, my child. This is about life itself. This is the pathway to true freedom, to salvation, and to divine protection. Fasting is another powerful weapon that strengthens your spirit against the pull of temptation. When you willingly deny the legitimate desires of your body for a time, you are cultivating spiritual self-control. When you humble your body, you elevate and sharpen your soul. I am deeply pleased when you choose to fast, not for public show or to earn my favor, but as an act of devotion to draw closer to me, to quiet the noise of the world so you can hear my voice more clearly, and to strengthen your resolve against the pull of the flesh. The enemy despises fasting, for it weakens his influence over you. Do not underestimate the incredible spiritual power that comes from a disciplined heart and a submitted body. The spirit of prayer must be your constant companion. As I have commanded, you must learn to pray without ceasing. This does not mean you must be on your knees 24 hours a day. It means living in a constant state of conversation with me. When you are tempted, when your mind begins to wander into dangerous territory, when you feel weak and overwhelmed, turn immediately to prayer. As I have said, prayer is not a ritual, it is a relationship. It aligns your spirit with mine and erects a shield of light that darkness cannot penetrate. I am always listening, and I always respond in the way that is best for the eternal state of your soul. Through prayer, you receive the strength, the courage, and the clarity you need to overcome every single temptation that comes your way. My child, you must understand the true nature of sin, for this knowledge is a form of protection. Sin is fundamentally deceitful. It always promises satisfaction, but it only ever delivers destruction. Pride promises you respect and admiration, but it ultimately leads to humiliation and isolation. Greed promises you security and happiness through wealth, but it leads only to a gnawing emptiness. Anger promises you a feeling of release and power, but it leads to bitterness and bondage. Understanding the true cost of sin will fortify your resolve to resist it. Do not let the enemy deceive you with the lie that what seems pleasurable in the moment will be good for you in the long run. The gratification of sin is fleeting, but its consequences can be eternal. Remember the power of forgiveness, for it protects you from being caught in a vicious cycle of sin. Do not harbor bitterness, resentment, or a desire for revenge in your heart. These are heavy chains that the enemy uses to bind you. They make you spiritually vulnerable, they cloud your judgment, and they open your heart to further attacks. Forgive others just as I have lavishly forgiven you, even when it feels impossibly difficult. Let go of the offense, not for their sake, but for yours. In doing so, you protect yourself from being trapped in a dark prison of your own making. My child, faith is your fortress. Doubt is the crack in the wall that gives the enemy an entry point. You must believe in my promises, even when you cannot see the outcome. You must trust in my provision, my guidance, and my protection. Faith allows you to walk in obedience even when the path ahead is shrouded in mist and uncertainty. Remember my servant Abraham. He trusted me and obeyed my voice, even when the promise I gave him seemed impossible to fulfill. His unwavering faith saved him from despair and paved the way for blessings beyond his wildest imagination. Your faith must also be strong, unwavering, and active. Gratitude is a mighty shield. When you discipline yourself to focus on my blessings, when you consciously recognize my hand in every detail of your life, The enemy cannot so easily sway your heart with discontent. Ingratitude opens the door for envy, dissatisfaction, and a host of other temptations. Praise and thanksgiving cultivate a spirit of joy, patience, and deep contentment. Make it a daily habit to count your blessings, to speak them aloud, and to rejoice in my goodness. This simple practice will strengthen your heart against the subtle but persistent attacks of darkness. Discipline is absolutely essential for a follower of mine. The desires of the flesh are strong and demanding, but the spirit I have placed within you is infinitely stronger. You must exercise control over your appetites, your impulses, and your desires. My servant Paul wrote that every athlete exercises self-control in all things in order to win a temporary prize. Do you wish to win the eternal prize of life with me? Then you must discipline your body and your mind. Do not be a slave to your impulses. Be a master of your spirit, empowered by my spirit. When temptation rises within you, self-discipline allows you to respond with wisdom and prayer rather than reacting out of weakness. Your conscience is a precious gift from me. Pay close attention to it. When it convicts you of wrongdoing, do not try to silence its voice. When it warns you of danger, obey it without delay. The enemy's goal is to dull your conscience, to sear it over time, to convince you that right and wrong are relative and subjective. But I have placed within you a moral compass that, when listened to and calibrated by my word, will always keep you safe. The enemy cannot manipulate a conscience that you heed with diligence and obedience to my guidance. Confession is your refuge. Do not try to carry the heavy burden of sin in silence. Confess it immediately to me and when necessary to a trusted and mature fellow believer. Do not hide what is harmful. Hiding your sin only gives the enemy more power over you. Confession brings the darkness into my light. It brings a release to your heavy burden, and it restores protection to your soul. I am faithful and just, and I will always forgive you when you come to me with a genuinely contrite and repentant heart. The act of confession restores your spiritual strength and shields you from the painful consequences that come from lingering in a state of disobedience. Obedience, my child, is your lifeline. Every command I give in my word is for your ultimate protection. Every boundary I set is to preserve you from harm. Do not view my instructions as burdensome restrictions, but as a loving Father's road map to a life of peace, victory, and abundance. Those who choose to walk in obedience will avoid many of the painful snares and traps that entangle the disobedient. Above all else, my child, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. A heart that is completely filled with my presence is an impregnable fortress. A heart that is divided between me and the world is a constant battlefield. Protect it, nurture it, feed it with truth, with worship, and with prayer. Avoid idleness, for an idle heart is a vulnerable heart. Fill your time and your heart with worship, with studying my word, with prayer for others, and with service to those in need. Let every thought, every word, and every action be rooted in your love for me, and you will find that the enemy's most powerful temptations begin to lose their appeal and their power over you. Remember the story of my servant Daniel. He was a captive in a foreign land, surrounded by corruption, overwhelming temptation, and rampant idolatry. Yet he remained steadfast. Why? Because he had made a preemptive decision. He committed himself daily to prayer, to faithfulness to my word, and to unwavering loyalty to me, no matter the cost. And I honored his commitment and protected him, even in a den of hungry lions. My child, remember that the trials you face in this life are temporary, but the rewards of obedience are eternal. The enemy may seem powerful. The world may seem unfair. The challenges before you may feel insurmountable. But I am stronger. I am eternal. I am victorious. When you choose to remain faithful to me, I will lift you up above every scheme of the darkness. I will protect you from the punishments that are the natural fruit of disobedience. I will guide your feet to safety, to peace, and to a life of blessing. Keep your eyes fixed on eternity, not on the fleeting pleasures of this world. The lusts of the flesh, the pride of life, and the deceitfulness of wealth are all temporary illusions. They promise lasting satisfaction, but they always leave a legacy of emptiness. Focus your energy and your passion on my kingdom, on righteousness, on mercy, and on truth. Store up your treasures in heaven, where moth and rust do not destroy, and where thieves cannot break in and steal. When you learn to value eternal things, the temptations of this world will lose their glittering appeal, and your path will be brightly illuminated by my light. Remember that love is your greatest weapon. Love me with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. Love others as I have commanded, and yes, even love your enemies. When your heart is saturated with my kind of love, the selfish desires that led to sin simply cannot find room to grow. Love dispels anger, it extinguishes envy, it starves lust, it deafeneth pride. It transforms your weakness into my strength, your fear into my courage, and your doubt into my faith. When you walk in love, you walk in my very presence, and the enemy cannot prevail against you. The Holy Spirit who lives within you is your personal counselor, your ever-present guide, and your divine comforter. Do not quench the Spirit. Do not ignore his gentle promptings, his quiet nudges, and his urgent warnings. The Spirit speaks to you in 1,000 subtle ways to protect, instruct, and redirect you. When you learn to follow the Spirit's leading, you walk in perfect alignment with my will. When you ignore him, you give the enemy an opportunity to influence your decisions. The Spirit is your constant companion in this journey. Through him, you are never truly alone in your struggle. Follow the example of my beloved Son, Jesus. He was tempted in every way that you are, yet he did not sin. He relied on the authority of my word. He prayed fervently. He obeyed my will perfectly, and he trusted me completely. This is your model. When you face temptation, repeat my word. Pray with passion, resist with patience, and trust me with your whole heart. My power will flow through you. My presence will surround you, and in me your victory is already certain. My child, do not grow weary in doing good. The enemy wants you to become discouraged. He wants you to believe that your efforts are futile and that you should just give up and abandon the path of righteousness. But persistence is your safeguard. Keep walking in obedience. Keep speaking truth. Keep loving fiercely. Keep praying without ceasing. Perseverance is what strengthens your spirit, fortifies your heart, and builds a life that the enemy cannot tear down. Humility, prayer, obedience, faith, love, discernment, and vigilance. These are the keys to avoiding temptation and living under my divine protection. Make them the foundation of your daily life. Let my word dwell richly in you. Let my spirit guide you. Let my love fill you. And you will find that no weapon formed against you shall prosper. No scheme of the enemy can overcome you, and no temptation will be able to overpower you when you are walking hand in hand with me. Finally, my child, know this deep in your soul. My mercy is always greater than your failures. When you stumble, when you fall, when you give in to temptation, do not spiral into despair. Return to me immediately. Do not hesitate. Confess your failure, repent with a